Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the I'll Try That podcast. This week Rich and I are going to be breaking down everything that is Magic Rock Brewing, and I'm going to be asking and quizzing Rich all about the magic tricks and the world of magic. And rocks maybe, but probably focusing more on the brewing world.
I know some geologists, and apparently you need to lick some rocks to identify what type they are.
Well, I can't wait to find out more about that, Rich. So, but first off, I definitely think you've got a bit of an interesting or a weird story involving beer, have you not?
Well, I suppose I wouldn't call it. It's more. I'd call it more of an interesting find, more than anything. As I was perusing my local Lidl one day, because that's what I like to do in my spare time.
It's well documented on this podcast how much you like Lidl, but you do prefer Aldi, so...
I do prefer Aldi. But yeah, I was perusing my local Lidl, and in Lidl, as we talk, sometimes they have like the specialty food section. And being a beer connoisseur, dare I say it, beer expert.
Yeah. Okay, your words.
Yeah. I like to try many different kinds of beer, and this beer captured my eye.
Okay.
Mainly not for its colourfulness of the can, or maybe the flavour of the taste. Okay. Literally for the sheer size of the can.
Oh my word! You've just put it up on screen so I can see. That thing is massive.
It's the size of my head,
and you already have quite a big head as well.
It's once again well documented that my head is huge. But it's called Fox Premium Quality Lager Beer.
Oh, a lager beer, hey?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Fax? Faxy? Fax? F-A-X-E?
Oh, you said Fox. How do you spell that word you're pronouncing?
F-A-X-E?
F-A-X-E. Faxy.
Yeah. Faxy.
Or fax. No, never heard of it.
Faxy.
Describe, apart from its ginormous gargantuan size, explain to the listeners what you're seeing.
So the can, it looks like a normal can of beer, just like massive. You know, you get those German hot dogs that they sell in like Tesco, and they come in the big cans. Like
okay.
That? No,
okay.
Or is that just me?
It's interesting. I'd have to look. I haven't been shopping down the canned sausage hot dog aisle, if I'm quite honest.
It's a riveting adventure. You should go, Joe.
Sounds like I've been missing out my whole life.
Yeah. Canned hot dogs. But yeah, so it's a massive can, as I said, the size of my head. It's 5%. It's 1,000 millilitres. So that's pretty cool. But the can itself...
Sorry, 1,000 millilitres. Now put that in perspective. Normal cans are 330 millilitres.
Yep. So this is 1,000.
So it's over 3 times the size of a normal can.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's bang for your buck, because it wasn't even that expensive. But I'm more intrigued because it's all done around Vikings sort of thing. Okay. So there's loads of pictures of Vikings and skulls and like Viking longships. Also, one picture I don't quite agree on is of a man shooting an arrow at another man, like clearly. Yeah.
With someone's bottom.
With someone's bottom in the thing. Like I'm fine with most things, but I just don't think you need that amount of violence on a can trying to sell you beer.
So, what have you found out about the brewer of this can, this giant can? Like, who are they?
In all honesty, Joe, not a lot. Just a genuine excitement that I brought the can.
Okay.
And it's
So, all right, okay, well, let's keep formal fact-finding. What's it taste like?
I haven't opened it.
Right, okay.
Because it's a collector's item, Joe, as it tells me on the tin.
Okay, so on the can it does say collector's item. So is your plan to keep this beer then, this gigantuan can?
Well, like, who knows? In the future, it might be worth some money. Even though I've never heard of this brewery in my life.
I love how optimistic you are about that. I know that they say it's a collector's item on the can. I don't think that's how collecting stuff works. Where because it says it is, that's what it is. It then holds value. Although I was learning earlier on about NFT, digital art. Have you heard about this?
Oh, yeah?
This is a concept I hadn't heard of before. Basically, this is where people are selling and buying and selling art or videos or something online that's then secured and locked up in the blockchain so that should be only ownable to that person. And people are spending silly amounts of money for it.
Yeah, wasn't the video Charlie Bit My Finger went up for auction, the original... So the family who created that video, wasn't it one of the largest, most viewed videos on the internet on YouTube at one point? And it went from they auctioned it off for mad money. So then you would have the original, or wasn't it a small child bit on somebody's finger? And it was like, Charlie bit my finger. Like, it wasn't anything special.
I was just going to ask you before you give out if you had the amount, just to give a rendition of what that sounds like, to act it out for the listeners.
I know, something stupid like 10 grand or something like that.
Oh my word, 10 grand for a digital video, like a video. That's crazy.
You're not going to watch it though, are you?
And again, it goes back to that is a collector. That's what I guess you would class as a collector's thing. It's not good functioning. You can't use it, but it's just the fact that you have it that gives it value. But then it's a video. Can't you just watch it on YouTube anytime you want?
Well, the original copy.
But I guess it's the principle of having the original copy. Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. But then the problem is with these digital stuff, like you can just copy and paste them you can replicate them as many times as you want.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's the fact that it's the original, I suppose.
But just quickly going back to Fax Brewery, we should possibly do a whole podcast on them because they have a rather large selection of beer.
Now, are their beers actually all massive?
Well, that's the exciting thing. You can either buy the small can or the massive can.
Okay, so we have to do, I think, when we do this episode, we have to just get all the massive cans and try the massive cans.
100%. But I've just done a bit more reading into the collector's can. So they release a collector's tin every single year. So you can collect from different years, different tins and stuff like that. So the current one I have is the 2020 or 2021 can, which is quite cool.
Now, but beer doesn't hold its freshness for indefinitely, right? So when are you meant to drink it by?
This one is 2022. I've got a year to consume this beer.
Well, listeners, I don't know about you, but I'm quite intrigued to get Rich to try this giant can, to well document it and tell us all about it. So I don't know, maybe if we can get a bit of a crowd campaign going with comments on Instagram. We'll get Rich to try his big drink.
And I'll do it in one sitting before we record.
Oh wow, lucky us who are recording with you, but actually that would be very entertaining for everyone else. This week we're going to talk about Magic Rock Brewing. Now, Magic Rock has been on my radar for a little while. They are, I think, I would go so far as to say is one of the first breweries I think of when I think of the English craft brewing scene. They've been around since 2011. I first got introduced to them actually because of all their collaboration work. So a huge trend that we're seeing across the globe, is that these kind of more kind of younger breweries are working with each other and collaborating on special and putting out different releases. So I tried the Magic Rock and Brewdog version beer, collaboration beer, which was very tasty. I can't remember off the top of my head all the details about it, but was exactly as you'd expect. An IPA to be full of flavour, hoppy, citra, all these kind of different hops in there. Very, very tasty. So I was excited when we decided that we wanted to find and actually go a bit more into detail behind Magic Rock and, actually understand a little bit more about where they came from.
So this is the first time I've ever tried Magic Rock before. It's the first time I've ever heard it was when you messaged to suggest that we try it. And I'm a big fan of all of these kind of more independent, smaller breweries and some of the stuff that's coming out of it. So I've been really excited to try this. But I've once again shot myself in the foot by not looking at the ABV of the cans that I've picked up, and I've just gone for a 7.4. Look, oh wow! I've just got to stop doing this because the rest of the record just kind of goes downhill for me afterwards.
Right. So talk to us about your 7.4. What's your name and where do you come from? That's my still a black impression.
I think we're going to have to get a compilation of all the impressions we've tried to do through this podcast at some point.
I would have to say 95% are going to be Barber, and they're probably going to be very good. He does. I'm saying that out loud because he's not on this recording. He'll be on the next one. But yeah, don't tell him I said that.
I believe my Vin Diesel's been the best one so far, but we'll leave that out.
Right, tell us about your beer. What have you got?
I've gone for the Cannonball India Pale Ale. But having a drink of it, it is really, really nice. Like you have these Indian Pale Ales that are coming through at the moment. Is like traditionally an Indian Pale Ale is always kind of sat at like maybe 3.5, 4%, maybe high over 5% in like the alcohol range. But you've seen a lot more breweries are kind of doing the stronger strength, and you can kind of taste the strength coming into it, but it's not bad, and it's not overpowering, and it's not taken away from a general pale ale flavour.
Thinking of, now that you're kind of talking about a pale ale, I've got two, but the first one I've got a pale ale coming up, but the first one that I've cracked open is a hazy pale ale. So this one is called Murk-Life Balance, which I thought was always quite a funny play on words. Murk for work. In case you didn't get that. So really, I find this really fascinating. So they describe it that they use a high proportion of wheat and oats to add body and add to this hazy formation. Yeah. So, when you think about a hazy pale ale, you think of those the DDH pale ales or the Napers that you so loved. Those kind of quite like...
Love a Naper.
Exactly. You kind of get this, tropical fruits, tropical notes, nothing as like overpowering as like some IPAs can be. It is really like it's got that complex mango, maybe like some passion fruit kind of. They say about kind of tangerine and a hint of coconut. I'm not getting any coconut come through, if I'm quite honest, but I'm certainly getting the more kind of the citrusy style of fruits coming in here. But they say what's fascinating about this one is that it's fermented with their house yeast. Now get this, Rich. Their house yeast is called London Fog.
Okay, I like that.
So cool. They've gone and named their yeast, which is brilliant. I love that. But yeah, I think this is I would have happily pick up this Murk-Life Balance again. It's exactly what you're looking for from a 5% ABV, kind of easy drinking pale ale.
So that does sound nice. I've just quickly going back to the Cannonball. I was just doing a bit of a Google on it, and it describes itself as a dry, malty backbone, which I really, really like, because I can see that when I drink, I'm getting the maltiness, kind of like a malty aftertaste that's coming through, which is really, really nice. And of course, it as we know, we've spoken before, the pale ale or the Indian pale ale was brewed to be more hoppy, so it could survive the longer sea journeys, which I quite like. And it's also got crescendo is thrown in there. As a puckering crescendo, the hop bomb will blow you off the water, which I think
so it's a very nautical themed by the sound of things.
But whoever they've employed to write for them, they've got some fantastic descriptive words in there.
Yeah, copywriters earning their money for that one.
100%.
So I think we want to talk a little bit more about Magic Rock itself. So he described themselves as being very heavily influenced by the craft beer scene in the US. So, you can see, from what was that? So yours was kind of very focused around nautical, kind of the seaside, I've got on there, I've seen and tasted before, is some of their West Coast ales, which very much lean in towards their, this is our tribute towards the West Coast style, craft beers from the US. But Magic Rock, they are from Yorkshire. So they're a Yorkshire-based company, and they have a brew house that's at the heart of their brewing. Guess how many pints they can brew every year?
Is this going in hectolitres?
I can do it in hectolitres, or we can do it in pints.
Let's go pints. I'll go for pints, and this is per year. Okay. I'm going to go 1.6 million.
It's a good guess.
Okay.
But you're close, no cigar. They can brew 2.7 million pints, which is 15,500 hectolitres every year.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and I think for a company that's been around since 2011, that is very impressive. That just shows the kind of the growth that this company has seen. As I said, they've been on my radar for a while, but I haven't really kind of dived into the background of them. But that makes a lot of sense. The fact that you can get Magic Rock in quite a few places around the UK. You can start, they're doing a lot of collaborations with people. I'm looking at photos of them as well, of their brew house, and they have huge event space as well, outdoor space with, it looks like a very busy space that people are in. They have 2 tap rooms, one in Huddersfield, one in Holmfirth. Never heard of Holmfirth, but Holmfirth. I'm guessing that's near Yorkshire. So, these guys have been around. They've grown, and they're enjoying the fruits of their labour.
What I'm also enjoying is I'm just reading a little bit of their history, and they've been in the top 100 list of world breweries on 5 occasions, which is pretty good. And it's also been voted the second best new brewery in the world, which are some good awards to be getting, and that was in their first year of operation.
That's incredible. That's an amazing accolade to get. I was really intrigued by this name, Magic Rock Brewing. Like, what does it mean? Is there a meaning behind it? Is it just some cool name? Or is it just something that's a bit different but why Magic Rock, basically? And, they do explain that a little bit, that, the owner or the founder, who is
Richard Burhouse, I believe.
Richard Burhouse. Thank you very much. So he says that basically, It's a kind of a homage, and I've said that homage again in this episode. But he said it's a homage to his father's family business, and his father's family business is he's an importer and wholesaler of crystals, minerals, and semi-precious jewelry and natural gifts. Is how they describe it.
What do you mean by semi-precious jewelry?
Well, I'm guessing he's saying not diamonds. Basically, that seems like everything that isn't diamonds. Because if you're a diamond wholesaler or importer, I think you need to go through that's a lot more stringent. There's probably a lot of people who are in that. Whereas if you're let's think about all those other things: crystals, minerals, semi-precious jewelry, and natural gifts. That's a very broad area. But like a natural gift, that could be something that you get when you're on holiday, and you're trying to last day of holiday. Coming back home, I've got to get a couple of people some gifts. Well, I go into this brick and brack shop or whatever, and there's some sort of rock thing. You go, that's a natural gift, isn't it? Well, there you go. I buy that. I bought a natural gift.
I've just got this image of him on the beach, just shoveling rocks into a wheelbarrow and just wheeling them away, going, "Ha ha! Natural gifts."
Could be. But again, he's an importer and wholesaler, so he definitely is the bringing in. But yeah, that's quite interesting. So obviously, this is the Magic Rock and how it started. A completely different business venture to what his family business is, and I suppose with this kind of rock importing, exporting business. But yeah, a nice homage to the family business, I suppose.
Well, I also really, really like kind of their slogan. Have you got it on the top of your can, Joe? Because I'm just looking at it on my Cannonball can. The slogan they've got says, think magic, drink magic.
Yeah, I quite like that.
Yeah, short, snappy, and really to the point, which I think is great.
So Magic Rock's interesting in its design as well, because each one of them is following a very similar theme, but they all look very distinctive and different, don't they?
Yeah. Can you think of another brewery that they slightly look like?
Vocation springs to mind as well.
Vocation.
A little bit.
I got Siren as well.
Siren, definitely. Yeah, if you think a company from the 2010s is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've kind of just gone on, when you used to go on Paint and you would scribble loads of like that and then block colour it in?
Well, the Roundel logo, Siren, as well.
Yeah.
Don't forget. Or Salt.
Yeah,
we talked about Salt.
Yeah.
We talked about Siren. They've got the same thing. Yeah, so they're following on with a lot of similar cues that are around the the craft beer scene, especially here in the UK, I suppose. But I think it's quite interesting. Each can looks very different. In the way that the pattern's quite crazy, isn't it? There doesn't seem to be any real rhyme or reason to the pattern. They're using black and white predominantly, but then with pops of colour.
Yeah.
So my Murk-Life balance has got a more of a pinky hue, whereas the next one I'm about to tell you about is kind of vibrant lime green and yellows.
Yeah, mine are like a popping pink and like a kind of minty green, which is quite nice.
So the last one I'm going to try from Magic Rock Brewing I'm quite intrigued by, because I love this combination of flavours, is the High Wire Grapefruit, which is a grapefruit pale ale.
Ooh, okay.
And some of my favourite beers that I've sampled, I mean, I've talked about Montauk on this before, but one of my favourite beers is a watermelon pale ale from Montauk. And I've had quite a few nice grapefruit ones before. So I've got high expectations for this High Wire Grapefruit, because that last beer with the Murk-Life balance was very, very scrumptious. Oh, so already on the nose, Rich, I can tell you that for nothing. It is a lot sweeter, and you're getting the grapefruit notes coming through. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely getting the grapefruit in there. That is a very grapefruit pale ale. You get exactly what it says on the tin with that one. So I like this because this feels like a nod to the very West Coast American ale, like ales, pale ales. Yeah. You know, this doesn't feel like a traditional English pale ale. This feels like a nod towards the West Coast pale ale. It's got a lot of flavour, a lot of punch. It's 5.5%, so it's kind of followed up with the ABV that it's got a bit more of a punch to it. But the grapefruit really holds this together. You know, you get the note of the grapefruit quite quickly, but also it kind of lingers on the tongue as well. So I have to say, if you are a fan of something that's got that quite, it's quite sweet but has a very kind of malty, crisp, bitter finish, then I think you're in luck with this high wire grapefruit, because it starts off quite grapefruity, and then it kind of leans into this kind of like bitterness at the end, which is really tasty. Actually, it's a nice combination.
So, I'll talk about my final one. So I've got something called the Salty Kiss, a gooseberry goose.
Oh my word! A gooseberry ghost.
A gooseberry ghost. Sorry, looking at it, a gooseberry ghost, which is
a gooseberry goose would be quite fun.
Yeah, I quite like that. But this is based on it's the German style.
What is a ghost beer?
Which is it's a German styled beer from the Goslar region in Germany, and it's supposedly it's brewed with at least 50% of the grain. Bill being malt wheat dominant flavours in a ghost, including like the lemon and sourness. So that's probably where the sourness is coming through that they're describing. But yeah, this one is a tart, lightly sour, fruity and refreshing with a defined saltiness. And you know what? I get the saltiness and I get the sour taste coming through, but I feel it could be a little bit more fruity.
Okay,
I think. But it also says an excellent accompaniment to food. That's just any food.
Nice, okay. So, just food in general.
Yeah, normally the beer company gives you a kind of food to try it with, but Magic Rock's gone, no, we're good with all food.
We are food.
Yeah, just food. Which I'm there. I'm there for the bold statement they've thrown out there.
So, closing up, I guess, on Magic Rock Brewing, let's talk about their socials. So they have Instagram. Actually, Rich, give me a guess. How much do you think they have on Instagram?
I'm going to go 13,000.
They have 60,005 K followers. 60,000.5K. And they have on Twitter 49.1K.
Okay, they're doing. You
know, they're doing some good stuff. So I would say, I mean, have you enjoyed your Magic Rock Brewing beers?
I have enjoyed them, but they've not been my favourite. They've been good. I would drink them again, but I'm probably not going to actively go out and buy them again from what I've tried.
So I think I have enjoyed my Magic Rock ones, and again I've gone for two pale ales, a hazy pale ale and a grapefruit pale ale. I do have downstairs their Dark Arts Surreal Stout, so I will try that one. I wasn't feeling brave enough to try that on this recording session, but I will try that at a later date. And maybe maybe that'll be my first video blog or vlog, whatever you call them, live video. I'll do the Dark Arts one from Magic Brewery.
Sounds so old right now.
I know. I don't know. It's all pass me by, Rich. I'm in my 30s now. But we're trying. And
I want with the kids, honest.
Get my light ring out. So yeah, I'm enjoying these Magic Rock Brewing, but yeah, I think I kind of I mirror your sentiment in that you could replace Magic Rock with Siren, Salt, Vocation. Name one of these other great breweries that we've tried and reviewed not that long ago, and they all are doing a very I mean, they're doing a very good thing for this industry, of the beer industry in general. Like the fact that the quality of beer, that our consumer taste buds expects the beer to be this level of quality, and we can bucket quite a few breweries into this same level of high quality, kind of spectrum, I think is a really good thing.
I think it's a fantastic thing that we're now at a point where we're straying away from, we had all of those breweries that have been around for years and years and years. And there are these not so much new breweries, but these breweries are starting to come out into the mainstream, and they are producing a higher quality. And I'm there for it. I'm there for the better beer.
So check them out. They do there's a wide range of beers on their website. So, with all quite different and funny names, all around a kind of a magic theme or something else. So yeah, definitely there'll be one for your shopping list. If you're interested in a certain style of beer, they'll make one, so give that a go. If you're open to try out different versions, they do mixed packs as well, so you can try different versions and see what you like. Any final words, Rich, before we jump off?
No, but I'm going to go in. I don't know, I had something, then I realised I probably shouldn't say that. So no, I'm all good.
And that's all we have time for this week's episode of the I'll Try That podcast. And so from me, Joe, Rich,
Barbara, and Simo,
goodbye. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram,
Twitter,
I'll try that podcast.com,
and watch us on YouTube.
Goodbye now.